A blind knight that uses echolocation, viewing the dark, treacherous world through sound. Trapped in a dungeon, endangered by combatants, where hazards lurk around every corner. Make sound to have vision, or don't and be stealthy. Avoid impaling threats throughout the dungeon to escape. Engage with other prisoners.
Rogue Knight, I've been here now. Could you find the key and unlock my cell?
Free them to fight back with more allies.
Let's take this guy.
The Dungeon Labyrinth has many paths and even more traps. Struggle through the darkness to find your freedom.
An empty plastic bottle would give you 50 cents. A soda can, 60 cents. A used food container, 80. Wondering why I know this? Because that's my job. I am a trash picker at my school.
Harry, the trash prince is on a roll today. And how is your trashy affair with Bella coming? She lets you kiss her with that stink?
Their words don't bother me. They don't know why I do what I do. And my secret. I edge close to my class when I hear Bella and her friend talking.
You can't be serious, Bella. You want me to break up with him for you?
I would do it myself if his poverty didn't give me the creeps.
You are unbelievable.
I come face to face with Bella's friend. She knew I heard the conversation and couldn't meet my eyes. She hands me the new phone I bought for Bella and walks away. I saved for months to buy her this phone. I walk down the empty corridor with a heavy heart, pick the phone out of the box, slip my SIM in, and switch it on. When... Harry Parker, you have passed the poverty test? You are now the heir to Parker family's billions worth of assets?
If Harry is a billionaire, why does he work as a trash picker? What is his big secret? Why did he not reveal his billionaire status to Bella? To know more, listen to the audio series Destiny Reloaded, only on Pocket FM.
Presentation. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening to you wherever you are in the world. We welcome you back here to Turn 200 for our coverage of the Sunday Top Split Strength of Field broadcast of the Mission R Challenge. Today it finds itself at the long version of the Charlotte Roval. The Roval, notoriously the season finale last season, proved to be quite difficult, to say the least, for the drivers. And now, I would argue, it has added the most difficult layout of the course into the mix here, with a couple of extra tight, slow, winding turns before these drivers are dumped back off into the high banks of the oval itself. Things are going to be very interesting here today. We're glad you're going to be a part of it here on Turn 200. My name is Tommy Cook. We've got the GOAT, the one and only Mr. Matt Williamson alongside. Matt, the Roval was wild last time. We've put it under the lights here this season. It's going to be even wilder.
Yeah, most certainly. We've put it under the lights. It's a different layout, couple extra corners that are very tough. I think some of the drivers that raced in the class yesterday will be familiar with the tight turns there on the extra couple corners we have. We'll go over that here in a little bit. But yes, I think this one's going to be just as wild and crazy. We've seen most of the Roval races, no matter where we're at, are just unbelievable. This one is not going to be any different.
And also the bus stop is a little bit different than the bus stop layout that these drivers, at least the NASCAR drivers, are accustomed to. This was the originally intended Cup Series layout of the Roval, back in 2018 when it was put on the Cup schedule. It never saw a NASCAR Cup race on this particular configuration, and maybe that is for the best. Driver-to-driver preference on that one. Speaking of drivers, why don't we go ahead and take a look at the driver standings heading into today's event.
Yeah, if we take a look at the standings, J.J. Wang still at the top of the board here. I don't really know if that's a surprise any longer. Of course, the reigning champion looking to go for 2 in a row here on the top split strength of field. Behind him, it's Ellis Spice, and then a pretty large margin back to Olivia Hayward. So Spice, we have a few weeks left, still kind of in contention there. I think everybody else is mostly going to be out of this thing. I know JJ's not going to miss any races, so but Hayward's there in third, Indica Scarlett fourth, Jamie Himmel-Smith still hanging out in the top 5 here, and then Sam Wiggy, AJ Coley, James Watson, Thor Tulla, and Adrian Johansson round out your top 10.
Quite a few of the drivers that are on that leaderboard there are not here. I believe most notably Jamie Himmel-Smith has not joined us this afternoon. I was going to say I don't see Olivia Hayward, but I do see Olivia Hayward. So Hayward, I think, ended up winning Thursday top splits, but had a very photogenic crash after the checkers dropped, ended up in the grandstands. Not sure how you do that with this car, but it was quite impressive. So, regardless, thank you to everybody that's hanging out with us already. John Schneebel, not with us. He was the thumbnail driver today, though. Found one of the turtles at the exit of the completely flat-out bus stop down the backstretch. If you find one of those turtles, you are going to go flying. And Jeff Mathis, you mentioned the clash last night. For the Mission R clash at the Coliseum by Virtual Alliance. Unfortunately, Jeff did not have the best of times with us last night, but hopefully it is a bit better today than it is last night. I agree. Good Leaf Archives is back as well. Betting on Indica Scarlett, who right now has provisional pole. And with only 2 seconds left in qualifying, it is provisional no longer. Indica Scarlett will lead the field to green on the outside of the front row. Last night's Clash at the Coliseum winner, James Watson, coming off of a best career Sunday top split finish last week at Watkins Glen of 4th. James Watson looking for a big win here today. The reigning champ, J.J. Wang, also won last time we were here on the Roval. He starts at 3rd next to Olivia Hayward, who has had some success here. Dortola, points leader this season and the top-ranked driver in the session, will roll off in 5th. Lane Doyle on the outside of row number 3. Ellis Spice 2nd in the points, 7th on the starting grid. Hank Gunsteneker is here as well. He will start in 8th. Alexei Savilev in 9th. And Gerard Boldu rounds out your top 10. Georgia Trepsick and Dakota DeMay, the demigod, has graced us with his presence today. He starts at 12th. Rebecca David and David Delara is here as well, starting in 14th. Adrian Johansson, Alexander Cattermole in row number 8. Carlos Cunha Filho and Yaroslav Sabatov, 2 names I don't believe we've seen here on the Sunday grid. They start 17th and 18th with Marius Bodarlau. Oh boy, that one's going to trip me up. So we'll just stick with Marius down in P19. Track conditions here. We got about 40 seconds.
Yeah, looking at the track conditions, obviously a night race, so cool temperatures, 79 degrees right now, which maybe is a little warmer than expecting for the night race, but may continue to go down. We'll have to see. Very minimal wind is going to be a problem here. Ambient temperatures, 78 degrees. Pretty fine conditions for the drivers here, and I think they're going to be thankful for that around the Roval here tonight.
Yeah, they're going to need every tool in the tool bag to help them out here today. A lot of lateral loading on these tires. They didn't like it last time, and now we've added even more tight, winding turns into the infield of Charlotte Motor Speedway. The lights are coming on. The reds are blinking, waiting for the green, and the drop of the flag from Barney the Flagman, Indica Scarlett, and James Watson at the front of the field. The race to Tums Heartburn turn is on. One driver did not get a great start and checks up the back half of the field through turn number 1 now. Watson from the outside. Watson to the lead. Here is J.J. Wang to the inside of Scarlett.
Wang wanting to waste no time, knows how valuable track position is, gets up to second. Thor Tola trying to get around Indica Scarlet as well.
Thor looking for a big opening lap here. Started 5th, looking for 3rd. And here is where the differences begin. The left-hander into the S section. Watson leading Wang just like it was last night at the Coliseum. As Thortola slots into line in 3rd, Indica Scarlet, the pole sitter, back to 4th with Olivia Hayward right behind.
Yeah, lots of battling throughout the field right now.
And here comes the test of mettle. The bus stop. Just a crack of the throttle. Oh, Watson really hit those turtles there. Gerard Boldu inside the top 10 right now may have been popped for a false start. He will have to come to pit road and serve a penalty.
J.J. Wang is hounding Watson. Might dive to the inside here in turn 1.
Here goes Wang. J.J. to the top spot. 4 of the last 5 Sunday top split victories have gone to the reigning series champion. J.J. Wang in control of the field. Watson back to 2nd. Tulla and Scarlett 3rd and 4th. Hayward in 5th. Lane Doyle ran off into the grass there, but will hang on to the 8th position.
Georgie Trepsick under fire from David Dallara.
Everybody single file right now. Nobody going for it just yet. But the big draft section of the course here ought to open up a couple of opportunities throughout the field. Watson makes up some time through the bus stop.
Oh, no! Hayward's around!
That's Olivia Hayward. Barked backwards on the top of turn number 3 in the oval. Just a clip of the turtle there will do that.
Yeah, I think that's going to be an issue, and I was just about to say it when they were on their way in there, and lo and behold, Hayward has a problem. I mean, that abbreviated bus stop, it is, you have to send it to have a good lap, but it is treacherous.
Georgie Trepsick also went for a spin through the final chicane and is dropped outside of the top 10. Yeah, so you have to be full send through there. I ran the Thursday race, and it's a bit unnerving, to say the least. I found myself airborne at least once in that race. I won't say how many more times than that.
I mean, it's one of those things that, I mean, the regular layout, you know how much you have to slow down, but, I mean, just having the mental fortitude to send it as hard as you need to actually have the good lap times. It takes a lot. It takes a lot of mental stability to be able to do that.
Well, Good Leaf Archives saying mimosas at the Bellagio today. How nice that does sound. Indica Scarlet still hanging in 4th here, losing some time to Thortola.
Oh, Watson.
Oh.
Two wheels
so much
on the oval, 2 wheels off there for a moment.
Wang's so good there through the final chicane as Carlos Cunha-Filho is off and is going to tow back to the pits. I think caught a bit of the turtle there out of the bus stop.
Hayward trying to make her way back through the field after the incident. Just got a 2-for-1 there. Is up to 11th now past Adrian Johansson. Thortola starting to reel in James Watson for 2nd here.
No, you missed the oval racing, Ryan. That was last night. Or Roval racing. Tola all over Watson here. Thor was the points leader at 1 point this season. Missed a couple of Sunday top splits. But back here and looking to make a statement early with what would be a pass to get up onto the podium.
And here's going to be your onboard shot through the bus stop.
Watson a bit deeper into the bus stop and going to reap the rewards there. We'll put another couple of car lengths on Tola as they head to the final chicane.
Close battles throughout the field. Ellis Spice trying to run down Indica Scarlet. Lane Doyle not far behind Hank-Jan Steneker either. And Hayward's gotten around Rebecca Davin, but Davin trying to fight back. All of those battles for top 10 positions.
Oh, Hayward again for a spin, this time out of turn 1.
Oh, and side by side here, Tola tries to get through on James Watson. But Watson stays true for now, but Tola is on the move.
Nope, one gear in this machine. And that gear is go.
Prindle has a whole nother meaning with the electric car. Better bus stop for Tola there. Might have a beat on Watson into 1. If he can have a good chicane.
All this while Wang is setting sail up front, nearly 3 seconds.
Not quite there for Tola. Spice still just a couple of car lengths behind Scarlet.
David DeLaura, who was running in P8, has come to the pits after a couple of off tracks this last time. Oh, contact!
Oh,
James
no!
Watson! Watson on a slower car. I think that was Sabatov. Unfortunately, it has taken James Watson out of contention. That was rather unfortunate.
And we do have a replay that we can go back and take a look. Oh, and looks like more contact farther back. Lane Doyle. And that was Sabatov again. Here's the incident for Watson. Sabatov in front. Watson looks to the inside, thinks Sabatov's just going to go wide and give him the spot. Sabatov, very slow. Watson, nowhere to go, gets right in the back of him.
So that moves Thor to second. Indica Scarlet is now on the podium, but Ellis Spice hot in pursuit. James Watson back to 7th. But closing in on Lane Doyle.
And there's the replay with more contact. That was actually Hank-Jan Steneker that got into...
Oh, and Hank has just gone for a spin. Does not hit anything, but Hank loses 2 spots.
Wow, only the first half of this race is over, and yeah, I mean, it's already gotten crazy.
Ellis Spice maybe trying to set up a pass here. Get close enough to do it into the chicane. Gotta have a good bus stop, though. flying through there, over 125 miles an hour.
Yeah, I mean, Spice had a good trip through there, but Scarlet even better.
Georgie Trepsick has gone for a spin right at the transition from the Roval to the oval. Precarious position to be in.
Yeah, and we've seen that before. That transition onto the oval is a difficult one. You don't want to start mashing the pedal down there because you will get very loose. And you can hear the tires on the pavement through that sweeping right-hand corner in particular for Spice. You just hear them screaming for help. Please don't do this to me.
Spice drawing a bead once again.
Much closer to Scarlet going into the bus stop this time around.
The intimidate button is on. Oh
no, Spice!
Got that left rear tire up and way into the air. And I think the podium run for Ellis Spice is over. Lane Doyle and James Watson go by. And Jan Staneker not too far behind as Spice will get it back up onto track. Oh, man.
The bus stop has claimed a few drivers already here today. And that was interesting. We had the onboard shot of that with Ellis, and Ellis took a much shallower entry into the bus stop than Scarlett did, and did not work out in the favor of Ellis Spice.
And Scarlett even went in there quicker as well. So there was something about the line there that really did Ellis Spice in. But again, Ellis back at P6. Wang, Scarlett, and Tola. Oh, Scarlett now up to second. Something must have happened to Thor Tola. He's back to third. They had about 2 seconds between them. Of course, Scarlett was just the one battling with Ellis Spice.
Yeah, I'll have to see if I can find what happened there. That would have been right after Ellis Spice had his incident.
Yeah.
There's a trip. That's the trip through the bus stop for Scarlett where Ellis Spice had the problem. Oh, and Thor had a problem through the bus stop there as well. We just missed it.
Interesting.
So both Spice and Tola being claimed by the bus stop that time around. Tola does a really great job. He just slides it sideways like he's dirt tracking it for about, 200 or 300 feet, but never goes all the way around, is able to correct it and get right back on the horse and starting to run down Scarlett again. So what a recovery from Thor there.
James Watson has made a couple of looks on Lane Doyle, trying to take fourth. But the pass is yet to materialize. Make no mistake about it. Watson aggravated after the contact with lap traffic. He wants to get up as high as he can possibly get here with 5.5 minutes to go. The lead is well in hand for J.J. Wang. Just about 8 seconds. Tola tracking down Scarlett for second. And Watson and Doyle battling for fourth.
We were watching Doyle and Watson, and they're right there on the transition. You can see just how much they have to tiptoe back onto the oval before they're really able to put the power down into the tires. And now Watson beating ever closer here.
Great bus stop for Watson. Can he make something happen here into the chicane? His best opportunity at making this pass came last lap in turn number 1. May not quite be close enough to make the move this time. Elaine Doyle gonna have to work for a P4 here.
After all of the hubbub behind JJ Wang, the gap is up to nearly 10 seconds now from Wang back to Indica Scarlet.
Scarlet, though, with a couple of car lengths on Thortola.
Lap traffic here for Doyle and Watson to navigate. Oh, checks Doyle up pretty good. Unfortunately, Watson had to check up as well, so might not be able to capitalize on it.
That's Marius Boderlau.
Good trip for both Scarlett and Tola there.
And Doyle and Watson as well. Watson slightly better, though. Again, looking for a pass here into the chicane. Not going to get it. And Scarlett had a slowdown to serve, so that's going to allow Thortola to retake second.
Watson got tight out of the chicane into the wall right there by start-finish. That is definitely James's best part of this racetrack, is the transition onto the oval through the bus stop, gets a huge run, and is really good through that final chicane as well.
Now, Thortola, the fastest driver on the track right now, unfortunately a 10-second gap to overcome here in 2.5 minutes. Well, something goes wrong for JJ, it's not going to happen. You talk about how good James Watson is through this section of the course, but Lane Doyle, excellent defense thus far. We'll have to keep it up for another couple laps.
Wow, maybe the best trip through the bus stop for Watson yet. Not a single hiccup there.
And more problems for Thor. Yeah, more problems for Thor through the bus stop. And all of a sudden, this battle is now for the podium. Here's a lunge from Watson. Doyle will keep the position. Watson with time to give up. So does Lane Doyle. Slowdowns for all of them.
And now it's a 3-car race for third.
Slowdown is cleared for Doyle, but Doyle now all of a sudden in a position for a podium. Again, going to be close whether we're coming to the white or the checkered here. I'd say we have 2 to go. It's just a guess. Scarlett 5 seconds clear of this battle for third. And JJ Wang through the bus stop all the time in the world.
And apologies to JJ. I haven't shown him on the broadcast much because he's been so far out front. Made those initial couple passes and then just set sail on these drivers. Dakota
we are
made into the
on
top
for
10
one
now.
more. Yes, Dakota's had an up and down day. Been as high as 7th, I do believe. Oh, and David Delara has just gone off out of the bus stop and crashed.
Tola might have a look to the inside, not quite there.
Opportunities dwindling for Tola to reassume a podium position.
He's running different lines to try to set up a run to the inside of Doyle in one of these corners. He hasn't quite been able to do it. Watson has now drawn very close as well.
Tola and Watson are both faster than Doyle, but Doyle has done an excellent job defensively, holding them off. JJ Wang is through the bus stop. At the front of the field, it is win number 5 on the season for the reigning champ, JJ Wang. Through the final turn and back to victory lane at the Charlotte Roval. Indica Scarlet, no problems through the final chicane. Scarlet will take second. The battle is on for third. Doyle will hang on. Lane Doyle on the podium. Disappointment, I'm sure, for Thor Tulla and James Watson, who were both comfortably on the podium at different points. They finished 4th and 5th. But no disappointment up front. JJ Wang, a masterful race.
Yeah, and again, unfortunately, really didn't get to see much of it. But I assure you, not one even little mistake for JJ Wang there in that race. I mean, that's about as perfect as it gets. Made the passes early, knew the track position would be key here, and I mean, just took off.
And I believe we are now official. So we'll go ahead and give you the full finishing rundown. Hopefully we'll talk to all of our podium finishers here. I do believe it's the first Sunday top split podiums here broadcast on Turn 200 at least for Indica Scarlet and Lane Doyle. They finished 2nd and 3rd. Thor Tulla in 4th. James Watson in 5th. Ellis Spice, a good comeback after the spin there. Will finish in 6th. Hakeon Steneker in 7th. Gerard Boldu in 8th. Dakota DeMade will finish P9. In 10th. And oh my goodness. Somebody just went into the grandstands again. I don't know who that was, but that was incredible. Rebecca David in 10th. I think that's where I left off. I'm not really sure what life is anymore. 11th for Olivia Hayward, 12th for Adrian Johansson, 13th for Georgia Trepsick, then a lap down behind them, David Delara in 14th, Marius Boderlo in 15th, Alexei Savilev in 16th, Yaroslav Savitov in 17th, and DNF for Alexander Cattermole in 18th, and Carlos Cunha-Fillo in 19th. All right, we'll wait for our podium drivers to trickle into the cool-down room here, but in the meantime, Matt, the Roval delivered the chaos we were expecting.
Yeah, chaos is an understatement, as you're seeing on your screen. Lane Doyle, that was, I mean, he took flight there at the end of the race. Thank you for that spectacular move. Over the catch fence, into the crowd. I think about maybe 50 people are going to the hospital at this point. But, yeah, it was what we expected. Honestly, I thought that the extra couple of turns, there in kind of the front half of the course would really be tricky. I thought we would see more people going around in those areas, but it ended up being the altered bus stop that really got these drivers tonight, really created some issues. So, yeah, absolutely wild stuff.
Well, still not seeing either Lane Doyle or Indica Scarlet in the chat, or in the cool-down room, rather. So I guess we will pull in our race winner first, and if they pop in, then we'll bring them in. But regardless, always great to get to talk to JJ Wang. We talked to him last night from P2 at the LA Coliseum. It is P1, maybe as expected here for the 5th time this season. But had to do it from 3rd on the starting grid. So not an easy Sunday drive for you to take the win here today. Congratulations nonetheless.
Yeah, thanks so much. Yeah, no, I think everybody's, improving bit by bit from week to week. The honestly, like 24s are really fast in Q mode. I did kind of mess up a little bit in the final chicane, but when I saw that I had a 2024, I didn't think I'd be down from the front row, honestly. But it's a testament to Indica and James for improving so much. Beating both me and Olivia is not it's not easy. So yeah, but really, I had a lot of confidence in race mode. That was definitely my better mode for this weekend. So yeah, I don't want to say I wasn't too concerned, but I knew that I needed to get the moves done. And from me and testing here with me and James, I knew I had like some legs on James. So just happy it worked out. You know, the death chicane is not it's kind of a roll of the dice sometimes. So yeah, just worked out. So pleased about that for sure.
When you finally make the pass on James, you find yourself at the front of the field. I mean, what changes in your mindset knowing that this is a track that demands focus and respect, maybe more than any other that we'll go to this season?
Yeah, honestly, with a track like this, I'm still focused on kind of building a gap. Not doing anything too reckless. You know, if Olivia was right behind me, or anybody else for that matter, or if I'm chasing somebody down, obviously I would push, a couple percentage more. But really, I'm still quite close to 100%. Just because you never know what happens with any of the long turns or the chicane. I actually wrecked on the final lap in that backstretch chicane, but because of the kind of gap that I had, I could just just nurse it to a few more corners. So stuff like that will happen. I've seen people in officials. This was really popular for officials this week. I've seen people with 15-second leads just wreck and have a hard time recovering from that chicane and lose the win completely. So yeah, it's a track that you just can't rest even if you have a gap, because you just never know when something might happen, as it did with James, unfortunately.
Matt, what do you got?
Yeah, that was kind of going to be my question. First of all, congrats on the race swim, but you mentioned you made the move early to get to second, which was absolutely necessary here. Always a tough to pass in these cars, but you get up to James, you're running him down, you're kind of sitting right behind him. Unfortunately, he has that issue, but is there a spot on the track that you were kind of eyeing to make that pass on him? Had you kind of seen the crack in the armor already to make a move?
Yeah, the final chicane is probably where I think I'm the best at. Just looking at people in practice, judging from officials. It's a weird place to pass, but it's I have a lot of confidence just with the car over the curbs, and I seem to just get better runs through there. So I knew if I had a place to pass, it was either going to be exiting of that chicane or into turn one. I think James knew it as well. He had a terrible exit, and he didn't let me go, but he was quite polite through there. I thanked him over the radio for it. So probably I would say really that's kind of the only corner I'm like looking at. Everywhere else would probably be a really tough spot to try and make for a dive, but it's possible. I have to watch the broadcast back, but I'm sure there's quite a bit of side by side throughout.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, this is going to be one of the more interesting ones to watch back, I would say. But regardless, apologies to you. Matt said it multiple times, but you did not get a whole lot of airtime tonight, despite being the race leader. But you get all the airtime now. So congrats on the win, and shout outs for you as usual.
Yeah, big shout out to James. I would make a joke about ovals versus road, but James had a really terrible night. Some of the back markers were just kind of really unsafe tonight, and it bit him, unfortunately. But I would thank him for coming out. He said in the interview yesterday that he was improving. I hope that showed. He has really grown a lot as a road racer in these cars specifically. So I look forward to him continuing running with me, and maybe hopefully getting that first podium. Big shout out to the Promix Flame guys, who are my R Factor 2 teams. They're looking to come out once in a while, but they just got really busy. I know Hank Yan specifically is actually looking to put a program together for next season. So big shout out to them for coming out for this Roval. And for really the entire grid for kind of making it out here. 20 cars, 20 cars is it's quite fun with these things, especially at night. Big shout out to, of course, you, the broadcasters, for putting on a good show. And in general, just thanks a lot to my team. Once again, Jeff has been instrumental in helping me figure out this car and it just kind of get the settings right and in race mode. So I'm happy to get the tin can TWR car up front for Jeff.
Well, congrats on the win. We'll get you another one next week at the Nürburgring, but go party hard. We'll talk to you again here soon.
Thanks so much. Thanks.
Hopefully didn't speak too soon on that one, but the Nürburgring next week, it was a difficult race, as it was for most people last season for JJ Wang, but regardless, an excellent job here today by JJ to leave all the chaos and calamity behind him. An interesting day, to say the least, here at the Charlotte Roval. Another one that I think a lot of people are going to be happy to put behind him.
Yeah, I mean, it was entertaining for us to watch, but I'm sure very frustrating for the drivers. So, I think they're looking forward to move on, but maybe also not looking forward to the really tough task next week as well. I feel like it just never ends for these drivers. They got to put a lot of work in every week for these courses. So, looking forward to next week once again. But, shout out to everybody that was hanging out with us here tonight. Good Leaf Archives. I'm looking forward to that next bet he's going to have to place from the Bellagio. So thank you for hanging out with us the last couple of nights. John Schneebel, Ryan Dye, Ryan Phillips. Jeff was in here earlier as well. I think that was it. So shout out to you guys for hanging out with us. Very much appreciated. Anybody else that was watching and hanging out or will watch here in the future, hope you enjoyed this broadcast as much as we did. The drivers gave us some good stuff here.
You know, I hate the gaslight. Actually, I love the gaslight, so I'll do it. These drivers put the schedule together. Just want to point that out.
Wow. All right.
No, this has been another great schedule. And next season's schedule, I think, is out. And if it isn't completely finalized, the tracks that are on there, going to be a similarly interesting and fun schedule to not be a driver on the track. But that's about all we got for you here. Thanks to everybody that was hanging out with us today. We'll hope to see you back here either next Sunday at the Nürburgring. We'll see you tomorrow maybe for Formula Super Series at Long Beach. Tuesday, the Venom Truck Series in Las Vegas. Wednesday night, doubleheader for the Daredevil Series at New Hampshire Road Course and then Oval. Thursday night, practice race for the Max V CNC Home Designs Truck Series at Chicagoland. And then next Sunday at the Industrifarten. I don't know how to say that correctly, but it's the Nürburgring. It's just one of the layouts at the Nürburgring. So it's going to be crazy. If you have not already, hit subscribe on your way out of the stream here tonight and hit like on it. Every little bit helps us in our quest to get to 1K. We'll see how long that takes, but we'll get there someday. Thanks to everybody in the Mission R community. Thank you to the one and only Mr. Matt Williamson. And until we meet again, I'm Tommy Cook saying so long from the Charlotte Motor Speedway Roval, where JJ Wang once again is your winner here this Sunday. This has been a live broadcast on Turn 200. Be sure to hit subscribe and hit the bell to get notified of when we go live next. Thank you very much for joining us, and we'll see you again soon.